everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Leslie. Today I'm sharing a layout with you that I made for the JustNick Design Team, and Nicole has released beautiful cut files on the 4th of August, 2 days ago, and this is one of the cut files she released, and this cut file is called Butterfly Background number 3. And you'll see that I've cut 2 copies of the cut file, and what I decided to do is I'm going to leave the one cut file just like that, and I traced along the inside of the butterfly wings of the other cut file, and I just cut it out with my X-Acto knife or my craft knife. And you'll see that I'm going to be backing that on some tracing paper, and this works really well. I've been trying to find a cheaper alternative to vellum and a bit more sturdy alternative to tissue paper. And this tracing paper, I don't know if it's just the brand, but it is very strong and it's very tough, and it reminds me, it looks and feels just like vellum, and it's fabulous. So you'll see there I'm just going to be cutting with my craft knife that little bit out there. I did the rest with my scissors, but the middle bit I had to cut out with my craft knife. And I really like the effect that this gave. It softened up the bits that I'm going to be placing beneath it, and you'll see what I'm going to be doing now. So I did wanted to add a lot of color to this layout. It's the photos of my daughter having fun on our slip and slide, and she's very colorful. Her whole personality just screams color, so I wanted to use a lot of color. And this collection from Jen Hadfield, Patio Party, is just perfect. So I thought I'd use some of those pattern papers, and most of these pattern papers, I have to be honest, I won't use as backgrounds. They are just not, they're very bright and I love them, but I won't be using them as backgrounds. So I don't feel that bad cutting into them because I will probably be using them as layering or as backing or something like that, or just what I'm doing right now. So I'm tracing the butterflies each one by one, and I will be adding another layer in between the 2 cut files so that there's color and dimension on the layout. And there you go, this is the end result. So each little butterfly has its own little colorful layer, and I just glued down the centers of the butterflies, their little bodies, so that I could pop up the wings if I wanted to. Now what happened here was I had some issues with my silhouette. I couldn't offset to the inside of the butterflies in my silhouette software. I don't know what happened. So I opened, my software crashed, and then I had to reopen the software and resize the butterfly because I had already cut out one of the cut files. So the second time I cut it out, I had to do it in, I had to reopen the software and all of that. So I just had to estimate how big the second cut file had to be because I'd already cut out the first cut file. So it turned out that the second one I cut out was like a couple of millimeters bigger than the first one, and that's worked out perfectly because look at all the dimension, and the wings were slightly bigger, so they would pop up off the back of the layers of that butterfly. So it all worked out in the end. That was purely serendipitous. I did not plan that, and it worked out really well, and I like that. So I'm going to be placing my photo on the left hand side. You'll see that her whole body is angled towards the inside of the layout, or the center of the layout, and I wanted to put her on that side. And the reason why I chose butterflies is because I don't know if you can see her hands in the photo. They're flailing up, and it's almost looking like she wants to take off. So I thought this would be perfect. So the butterfly is sort of, I don't know, flourishing, flying, escaping off the page, and it almost looks like she wants to fly. So I really wanted to bring in some of those beautiful florals from the collection, those pinks and greens and orangey yellow flowers are gorgeous, and I really loved the way that yellow popped off the page. So I went into that pattern paper, and I just fussy cut out some of the flowers there. And I still at this stage thought I would use some of those dimensional stickers. They don't make the final bit of the layout. I'm not going to use them. I thought that there was enough dimension in the butterflies, and the dimensional stickers were taking away from the butterflies. So I thought, let me just stick to the ephemera and then my fussy cut flowers. I did want to add some color to the background, so I'm using the hot pink Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and then the yellow is called the Butter, and I basically just sprayed that on directly onto the page, and it ran all over the place, and I really liked the way the pink made little droplets that ran over the page. I did want to add some more interest to the butterflies, so I did some hand stitching through the centers or through the little bodies of the butterflies in that hot pink. So I just brought some more pink onto the butterflies, and I'm going to be placing that banner from the ephemera pack right on the photo, and I'm going to be angling it sort of in the sort of parallel to the angling of her hands, how her arms are angled. So yeah, I did want to use that black and white striped balloon. I really love that balloon, and I'm going to be playing around with it a bit, but it doesn't make the end. It doesn't make the final cut for this layout. But yeah, I have another plan for the balloon on another layout. I'm just going to be adding some of those ephemera floral clusters in between the butterflies, and I love the fact that it brought in more of that green and the yellow and the pink, and there is also a diagonal aspect to this layout, the way I sprayed the Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and then how the florals are sort of coming up from the left hand side of the left hand corner of the photo, the layout up to the top. So it just adds some more interest to the layout, and your eye sort of drawn up from the left bottom corner all the way up to the top right hand corner of the layout. I really loved how this layout turned out. I had a very specific idea what I wanted to do with the butterflies and the layering and the tracing paper, and how I was very surprised that it turned out exactly the way I wanted it to turn out. You know, when you've got an idea in your head, and not very often does whatever is in your head or whatever is in my head end up exactly like it's supposed to end up, and I was very happy with that. So I loved all the dimension, I loved the bright colors, I loved the texture that the Heidi Swapp Color Shine sprays gave at the back, and I love all the texture that the thread and the butterflies gave, and all that beautiful color. This collection is really gorgeous. And yeah, so if you are interested in this cut file, it is available in the JustNick store. I'll leave a link to it below, and you're welcome to just pop over and go get yourself the cut file. It's a gorgeous cut file, and as you can see, you can make the cut file your own as well. I mean, I cut it out in its original form, and then I took my craft knife and I made it my own. So think further. Think out of the box when you do have a cut file, and you can always make it work for you. You can resize it, you can stretch it, you can cut it apart, and you know, you can do whatever you want with it, really. And it's gorgeous, and I really love the way the butterflies sort of just rush off out of the page. So I wanted to I had a specific idea in my head of a title that I wanted to use, and the title was Fly My Pretty. I wanted to make the title, but I didn't have enough of those stickers to do that. So I am just going to make the title Fly High, and that is it. And I'm going to be fussing about with those stickers for a little while. Those stickers are from I think the One Canoe 2 collection. I'm not sure which collection it is. I think Creekside. And they are. They've got a very dark blue foam, and I really like the way that that navy foam tied in with all the navy in the butterflies at the back. There's a lot of navy in this Patio Party collection, and it really looks really nice. So I'm disappointed that I couldn't fit the title "Fly My Pretty," but "Fly High" is just as nice. So I'm going to put the date on off camera, and that is about it for this layout. Bye bye.